Welcome to the Daily Dish with Leanne Ely. This is a show about you, your life, and the vibrancy you want. Join us for daily motivation, wise women's tips, and more as we collectively gather together and move the needle in our lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Now, here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
Here come all the wise women. I see Flynn in the house, Corliss and Marguerite already. So good to have you all aboard. Are you excited for Wise Women's Wednesday? It's my favorite day. There's my girl, Helen. I always love Helen saying, I'm driving, but I'm here. I love that. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you too for showing up. Jocelyn's here and in the house. So is our girl, Jackie. Jackie was, she's part of our inner circle. She had the hot seat last night. Wasn't it fun? Gracie, good to see you. Good to have you here. And, Wise Women's Wednesday is one of my favorite days because when we all hang together as wise women, the collective energy is really amazing. Have you noticed that? I have. Jane's here, Lynn's here, and Nancy's all here too. The party is getting started, ladies. That's all I have to say to you. It's getting started. So this week, we have all kinds of stuff going on. Next week, we start our Get Strong, Be Strong challenge. Isn't that going to be fun? Deborah, I'm glad you're here. Yes, it's going to be fun because this is to encourage consistency when it comes to fitness and your fitness levels and getting strong. If there's one thing that I wish I could plant a seed in everybody's little heads, that is, if you want vibrancy into your later years, you better start teeing it up right now, right? That's how we do it. Strength. Our muscles and our bones depend on us to do something in order for them to grow and be stronger. We will never, ever, ever look like big, ugly muscle women. Oops, you see my pencil? We never will. But we can lose muscle, we can lose bone, and that turns us into fragile, feeble little old ladies. And I don't want that for anyone. We're gonna be badass women with big purple hats and wearing red and whatever else it is that we do. That's who we're gonna be, right? Hey Lucy, I'm glad you're here. Jeanette's in the house. So good to have you here. Alice, Joanne, Sue. What are we going to do with you, Sue? She keeps going to the wrong show. Come on back. Come to this one. This is where it is. Fitness as we age is key. Ask Lynn. She knows. Because long-term consistency beats short-term intensity anytime. Am I right? It's so true. This is the needle mover, folks. Right here, right here, right here. That consistency thing, it always shows up. It always shows up. We need that. That's how we get better. There's my girl Doris in the house as well. Hello, Doris. And we already have people signed up for Casino. We're calling it Casino Royale. Yes, it's another gala, and boy, are we going to have a blast for this one. Are you excited for this? This is happening on March 3rd and 4th. That's a Thursday and a Friday at our regular 1 p.m. shows and at 7 p.m. We have a page all set up for it. You don't have to worry about the 1 p.m. show links, but you do need to worry about the 7 p.m. show links and reserve your seat. Go to savingdinner.com/casino. You'll see it right there. It is going to be an absolute blast. Look at you, Joanne. She's already signed up. I know, Flynn, of course, I know everybody's going to show up for this. It's going to be really fun. Super fun. And I'm looking for Kimberline in the house. So glad you're here. It's going to be a blast. Joanne already signed up, and I think everybody else should too. Okay, that's all. That's what you need to do today. The supplement of the week too, by the way, have you noticed? Oh, somebody is telling me stuff. 4 of them. This is a set. It's called the Core 4 because these are core supplements that every woman needs for vibrancy. Every single supplement has a rhyme, has a reason for it. When we put the 4 together, we give you a price break. And when it's supplement of the week, bada bing, bada bang, you get a price break and a half. Listen to this. Buy 3 and you're going to get a 4th set absolutely free. You can check it out at savingdinner.com/show. And you're going to find out these are our own formulas, and there's a reason behind all of it. The research shows us that, by the way, this is interesting, that if your vitamin D levels are up, if you have enough selenium, which we also sell in our shop, and you're taking on the regular your B complex and your CoQ10, notice this is almost all of the core 4, you're 4 times less likely to be getting cancer down the road. 4 times less likely. New stat just came out. It's in the studies. Go to PubMed to find it. Isn't that interesting? Yep. It's interesting as all get out. Q&A is on this Friday. Have you sent your question in yet? You can. All you have to do is send an email to support@savingdinner.com. Question for Leanne on Friday goes right there in the subject line. And guess what? I will answer it live on the show. Isn't that a great idea? I want you a part of that, because this is how you get your nutrition questions answered, or whatever other question that you have. I mean, that's an important thing every single day. And last but not least, we have, of course, our new text messaging thing, which is, by the way, is going swimmingly. I want you to join so that you can become a part of this small little group. These are the people who get special text messages with special deals, special giveaways, special this, special that. And who knows, you might even get like a little dancing something or something in your in your text messages, which we've done that as well. So check it out. All you have to do is pull up your phone, put the text message application up, and where you usually put a name, put this phone number, 855-960-3720. And on the message part, put the word join. Do it all in caps, and then hit send. We will send back something that says, you sure you want this? Something like that. Just read it, and you'll have to reply so that we know you want in. It's a double opt-in. That's what it means. You have 2 actions to do. 1 is to send the message, and 2 is to reply to the message that comes back to you. That way we can get you on the list. Without the double opt-in, you won't get it. We just want to make sure that you don't feel like you're being spammed. We want to take good care of you, and that's how we do that. Jama, Butterfly, and Vanessa, all in the house. All right, so I think that's I think it's really massively important. Don't forget, Get Strong, Be Strong, Monday. Go to savingdinner.com/strong. You can watch the webinar, pick up the guide, the whole bit. But I want you to play full out in this thing, because your muscles and your bones are at stake. And I believe with all of my heart that when we start to understand how important this is, we're going to start taking it a little bit more seriously. That's all I have for you on that whole part. Juanita, hello. So that's what we have going on. And don't forget to get signed up for Casino. It is going to be so fun. And if you notice, there's a picture of me with this badass hairdo and looking pretty fierce with my sparkly sequin gown on. That was from 2016 when I went to the Grammys. And that picture I had professional makeup and hair done, and it's kind of crazy. But it's interesting to me because it was just when I started taking all of our collagen products, and my skin looks better today than it did back then. So that's what I looked at. I was like, ooh, less wrinkles. So it's so funny. Anyway, thank you. I said it's my fierce photo. My mother wanted to know when she saw it. She said, why do you look so unhappy? And I said, Mom, I'm being fierce. Taking a plate out of Beyonce's playbook, right? She didn't get it. Whatever. Anyway, that was a selfie. I did my best with what I had. What are you going to do? I'm going to tell you what, though, for this casino night, I'm going to be showing up in full whatever. I have a few gowns in the closet. Woman on a mission. There it is. I have some gowns in the closet. I'm going to bring the gowns out. Let's get the gowns. Let's wear some gowns. Who wants to wear a gown? Let's do it. Right? You with me? There's a pinky up. Well, today, again, is Wise Women's Wednesday. And all this week, what have we been doing? We have been talking about letting go, because the thing about letting go is that letting go is a requirement for the next thing that you want in your life. We can't hold on to things and expect that we're going to get anything new and different. We can't. And even in things that we don't have control over, even everything, there's a sort of ebb and flow with letting go. And as anyone who has decluttered and cleaned out a closet, cleaned out a drawer even, or whatever, you can feel it's a cathartic thing to declutter and get rid of stuff. It feels good to give away. It feels good to not have the stuff in your house. It feels good to even throw stuff out. It feels good. It is really an amazing thing. But today we're going to be talking about breath and the importance of breath work. I've alluded to it a little bit, in a couple of shows, both shows this week. But today I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about the art of breath work and how it really does change your body's chemistry, and it changes your mind, and it changes a whole heck of a lot of things. Okay, let's do this because this is going to be fun. We know, first of all, that breath really is the ultimate expression of letting go. We breathe in and we breathe out, and it's an automatic thing that we do constantly, automatically, daily. We do this all throughout the day. It isn't that we have one, we don't come to 4 o'clock and say, okay, now it's time to rest from breathing. And we're just constantly doing it. Breathing is as regular as heartbeats. It's as regular as the blood running through our veins. It's just something that it is that we do. And did you know that breath work is an actual thing? It's an actual therapy and a modality that people and professionals and experts use to help regulate the body's system. It's so that you can take advantage of the need to reconnect with yourself and to reconnect with your body. It's a spiritual, and it's also a mindful thing. It's crazy how this whole thing works. And it's used by a whole lot more than just you and I. So studies show that conscious breath work will help to reduce stress, to create feelings of openness, love, peace, gratitude, clarity, calm, connection, and communication, for heaven's sakes. Isn't that interesting? All of these things that the breath can do. So often we're never thinking about our breath. We're not mindful about our breath. We just breathe. We're not mindful about our heartbeat. Our heart just beats. We're not mindful about these things. But when we decide that we're going to connect heart, mind, body, and soul, we're making a case for taking a look at our breath. As a matter of fact, breath work can stop anxiety attacks, actually stop an anxiety attack. There was a time in my life, I shared a little bit yesterday about, a miserable breakup, and I was on antidepressants. I was also going through anxiety attacks where I couldn't breathe. If you've ever had an anxiety attack, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You feel like you're being suffocated and you can't breathe, and you're just sitting there trying to desperately take a breath, and you can't. It's one of the worst feelings in the world. You almost feel like you have an elephant sitting on your chest, but not exactly. Or just somebody's holding you so tight that you can't breathe. But it shows that it not only helps with an anxiety attack, it can, with the proper breath work, it can stop an anxiety attack. It can also reduce migraines or the power of a migraine. It can alter the pH of your blood. It can even lower your blood pressure. Isn't that interesting? Breathing. Conscious, mindful breath work can do all of this. Isn't that incredible? So according to the research, breath work is intimately linked with mental function. Here's something that's, I never knew that. Did you know that? Mental function. So as there's a couple of things that is connected with all of this, right? And that is biofeedback, progressive relaxation, and a bona fide therapeutic way. This is just all bona fide therapeutic ways of breathing. All of these, it's executive function. It stimulates the prefrontal cortex. In other words, it helps you to think better thoughts, better words. It helps you to divvy out what's going on, like, oh, no, junk thought, don't want it. I'll take this one. This one works. In our bodies, do you know in our bodies, we have DNA. DNA is, throughout our bodies, in all the cells, etc. Do you know 98% of it is junk DNA? junk DNA, that means that only 2% of our DNA is really speaking to our body. That means we have to be, when we're using our breath, we're capable of changing some of the genetic expression. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? This is what the science is telling us. And the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve and the major component of the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, there's two nervous systems, right? There's the parasympathetic and there's the sympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is the one that is responsible for the fight or flight response, fight or flight. The parasympathetic is the nervous system that's responsible for bringing you back to center. Think about that. So it's the return. This is going to get you back on track. When you're all panicked and freaking out and all of that, then the breath brings us back right to center. So that ultimately means that our breath is actually can modulate how we handle life in general. That's a heavy sentence. It can help us. How do we handle this? This is really an important work for women who, if you have a knee-jerk reaction, kind of words come out of your mouth sooner than you can bring them on back, you might want to use breath and counting and just holding your breath and allowing for the functionality of your brain to bring you back to, oh, you don't want to go there, because we have a tendency to just knee jerk our way through life and say things that we don't want to and do things that we don't want to and just react rather than respond. There's a big difference between reacting and responding, and our breath can help us have that kind of control into what it is that we want to do next. So here's the thing. Breath work is part of letting go. Letting go is an intelligent decision to change. I love that. It's an intelligent decision to change. I need to let go of. We feel this. When we make a decision about the mess in our closet, or we make a decision about a mess in our lives or some other thing, there's a letting go process of that thing, whether it's an emotion, a person, a bag of clothes, whatever it is. There is a process that goes along with that. And I'll tell you what, that the breath work that we do in order to accommodate the work of letting go is an important component. Here's what happens. Remember what I just said about executive function? Well, check this out. There's like 8 parts of executive function, and breath work directly impacts this part of executive function. 1, flexible thinking. Well, when you're flexible thinking, you're looking for solutions. You're not saying, oh my gosh, I'm doomed. There's nothing I can do. When you're a flexible thinker, you know that everything is ultimately figure outable, right? Number 2 is your working memory, which I love, because so often I'll go, oh yeah, what was his name? And oh, I forgot that. And oh yeah, what was that, Jenny? Tell me about this. I forgot. But your working memory, we stuff so much information into our heads all the time. We're constantly on information overload. To have a working memory better because we're breathing better, sign me up. Number 3 is self-monitoring. Self-monitoring is just code for being self-aware. What's going on? How am I feeling? Why am I reacting to this? And really looking at yourself, not second guessing yourself, but instead analyzing, am I going off the rails on this? Do I need to come back here? Do I need to hold on here? Do I need to react to this, or do I need to hold this in? Do I need to process this? This is what all this does. This is how self-monitoring does. And your breath can take you there. Interestingly, planning and prioritization. Now, this is something that I hear a lot, in my coaching. I'm not really good at this. I'm overwhelmed. I hear that all the time. But what if our breath work could help with the planning and the prioritization that we need to do in our lives? What if it could also help too with task initiation? Like get your butt up off the couch and get busy. What if it could help you with that? That's another thing to take a peek-see at, right? How about number 6, organization? Oh, the O word. Yes. Do you know how many years I've gone around saying I'm just not good at organization? It's my mother. That's my mother's strength, her super hero strength. It was. She was amazing. Nobody was more organized than my mother. But I thought, why do I have to just keep saying, oh, I'm just not organized, and then creating the chaos around me to support that? You see how that whole thing works with the evidence to support it? I've stopped saying that. I don't want to say I can't lose weight anymore. I don't want to say I'm so disorganized, I'll never be organized. I don't want to say things, even though I look around and I don't have exactly what I want. I can at least be on the track by saying something different, can't I? Organization. Breath work helps with organization. Impulse control. This is a case. Remember how when your kids were little, we used to say, on the count of 5, you better be in the house, right? Remember that? Oh my gosh. And I always found it really annoying. But at the same time, Navy SEALs practice breath work, for heaven's sakes. They do breath work. And what does that do? It helps with their impulse control. It helps them to control themselves in really dire situations, dangerous situations. But they're taught very early on how to use the breath for their advantage. And as a matter of fact, and I shared this a few weeks ago, some really daunting stats about how pre-breath work, these Navy SEALs weren't graduating. And then after being taught breath work, they had more, they almost doubled their graduation. Fascinating studies. But breath work is the connection for heart, mind, body, and soul. It really is. And it's also the connection to calm ourselves down and to put ourselves back into place where we want to be. It lets go of the stuff that we've been hanging on to, and it brings in the stuff that we want going. It brings out the stuff that we want going out. Breathwork also helps us to disconnect as well as connect, which I think is interesting, going right to the body and breath connection and getting out of it, getting out of your head. Because that's where oftentimes there's a muddle of thoughts and a big garbledly gook of just not being able to figure out what's what. What's wrong? I don't know. I just feel a little bit odd, feel a little off, feel a little weird. It could be breath work. It could be breath work to help you, come back to center. That's the whole idea. So I will tell you too that the breath work is very much involved in meditation, but here's the cool thing. You don't need meditation to do breath work. As a matter of fact, if you're a commuter and you need to get on a train, that could be a time that you do your breath work. If you need to just bring it down a notch and you can feel the racing heart rate, you can feel yourself getting angry, you can feel things coming out, you can feel overwrought with emotion, sit down and do some breath work. Do the box breathing thing, count to 4, hold your breath, count to 4, breathe it out, count to 4, hold your breath, count to 4, breathe it out. That's a Navy SEAL stuff right there. You see, now you can graduate with the Navy SEALs. But there's several techniques, of course, to breath work, including the one that you make up for yourself. It's interesting because I do a morning meditation. I do an evening meditation when I'm in bed. I put my phone right under my pillow, and I do a guided meditation in the evening. And oftentimes they will do breath work that makes me feel almost it almost panics me because they're holding for 8, and then they're saying, hold it a little bit longer. And I'm thinking, that's not relaxing to me. That's actually causing anxiety. And during that time, I always make up my own breath work. Like I'm going to do 4s because I'm trying to bring it all down. I'm not trying to create new goals for my breath. I'm trying to go to sleep, and I'm trying to do it in a relaxed way. And studies show that you can make your own patterns. You don't have to say, okay, so how do you do this? Google, Google, Google. It's just understand, be aware of your breath, and then create your own patterns of breathing to calm yourself down. Because ladies, let's just be super honest. If we want to calm down, we want to do it on our own terms. We don't want somebody telling us to calm down. Amen? No. So I do both. I breathe meditatively. I also breathe intentionally. And sometimes when I'm doing something, I might be working out or on the bike or something that's just, I'm not my favorite thing, just to be honest. And I think, okay, now it's time to throw down some attention. So I breathe in something and I breathe out something. I breathe in beauty. I breathe out ugliness. I breathe in abundancy. I breathe out scarcity. I breathe in vibrancy. I breathe out inactivity and apathy. And I think about all these things. Just think of things of the antithesis, the thing that you want, and the antithesis of that thing, and breathe that out. Because the breathing in is the invitation to the oxygen to the body. It's an invitation to it. The breathing out, it's the carbon dioxide. It's the stuff that kills, right? We know that. I mean, as a matter of fact, I read just recently, there was a woman who was just having a really hard time getting up in the morning, just exhausted all the time. And she wrote into this doctor and she, was like, I do everything right. What's going on? What do I do? You know what it turned out? He told her, simple thing, open the door to your bedroom at night, because our rooms can get filled with carbon dioxide from from us breathing out, and it'll make us sleepy and headachy in the morning. Who knew? Open the door to your bedroom. I just thought that was interesting. But the whole point of the breath, though, of course, is to connect and to let go and to create new body chemistry. And that's what it does. It creates new body chemistry. So it's also, just like meditation, it's a practice. It's not something that just comes and it's easy. I think it's really wise. I'm a big user of 3x5 cards. And if it's something that you want to remind yourself to do because you found it super helpful, but it's not yet a habit, maybe write a little 3x5 card that says breathe. I have a t-shirt that says just breathe. And sometimes I wear that and go, okay, let's just do a little breath work and get ready to go. Sometimes I'll use breath work as a focus point too, where I'll just get some breathing and just get centered just for a minute. And with the intention of, this is what I need to do next. This is this is what I'm trying to create. This is what I'm trying to work on. These are things that I need to get done. And it just really helps. Usually I like to set an intention, even when I sit down with the show, like my intention is to bring people alongside and make sure that they understand how empowered they can be. This is one of the things that I want you to really feel how empowering it is to have control of your breath so that you can affect the change that you want in your life, including letting go of whatever it is that's hanging around. So yeah, do that. I mean, and try it. If you haven't tried it, don't just poo-poo it. It's free. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to a studio. You don't have to hire anybody. It's the most incredible thing, and yet so overlooked. And I believe that we can bring calm pretty much to any single situation that we have. And I think it's underrated, completely underrated, overlooked, and specifically is very useful and integral for this kind of work for letting go. Because I really believe with all of my heart that once we get mindful with our lives and once we've made a decision to become vibrant, then we start to process, what is it that I need to let go? What is it that I want to bring more into this life of mine, and what absolutely just needs to go. So I have for you 3 things that I think are just absolutely important for you to get this whole, high thing of how we do it. And the first thing is, if you've listened to my other, we had a whole week of shows about being high vibe, low vibe, and everything. I just want you to understand that your body is just a big fleshy container of energy, right? And if you understand energy and understand that there's higher vibe, there's lower vibe, and all of that, and that's not woo-woo weirdness and just like, some, thing that's way out there. It's actual science. There's a vibrational demonstration of this guy put some sand on this vibration plate, and the higher the vibe, the more incredibly intricate the pattern that the sand made. The lower it was, the lower the more simple the pattern. But vibrations make patterns. They make patterns all over. Vibration and energy gets trapped and needs to move around, and there are things that we can do to release it. I know it sounds super bizarre. It just is, though. This is how this whole thing works. They've shown this with body scans. They've shown it with this, YouTube thing that how the vibrations move around and all of that. And honestly, number one thing that I think is this is how we tap into our higher selves, by being willing to let go, by being willing to do the breath work to do it. And anybody have a baby here? Anyone? Anybody remember Lamaze? What's Lamaze? It's breath work. It's breath work to let go and to push that, huge baby out. That's what it's all about. So when we tap into our higher selves, we are realigning the energy in our bodies. That's what's going on. And this is where healing can happen, by the way. Healing can happen. Huge. Without even having to think, oh, I'm going to breathe my way into healing. Things start to realign themselves and what's the word? Realign is exactly the word. We have meridians all over our bodies. We get stuck energy everywhere. That's why people use tapping techniques. That's not woo-woo. That's just saying, oh, energy here, knock on this, boom, and off it goes. When we knock on the door, that's energy. That's a vibration, and that's a noise that we can hear. For example, what are we doing in our body when we're tapping? That's another thing. But that is so amazing when we start to use our breath as a means to releasing and as a means to centering this energy that we have. It's incredible. And number two, it really feels amazing. It feels amazing. It feels like, oh, now I can breathe. Have you ever felt like you just can't breathe? I mean, it's sort of like the predicate of an anxiety attack, right? Where it's just like hard to breathe, hard to breathe, hard to breathe. But then you can get into the breath and you can just center it all down and you can start feeling, okay, I feel like a human being again. I feel better. I feel good. Okay, I'm a little more centered. I'm calm. I can get through this. The anxiety is going. And then suddenly you find this sense of control again, and you feel this sense of letting go. It's part of the process, and it makes so much sense. And you can say goodbye. You can say see ya and watch it go. Now, another piece of it might return or not return, but just be, left inside. Big deal. Do it again. Big deal. Do it again. Always have an instant, microwave mentality toward these kind of things. But we understand that something as simple as our breath to guide our bodies into being back in alignment, being back in control, and having power again, we can use this in a very, very great way. And number three, it gives opportunity to release a whole lot of stuff. Right on. Like anger, even. Have you ever noticed sometimes that anger just kind of gets all turned into and wrapped around other things? It's sort of like bound up. Maybe there's a huge sadness, but underneath all that sadness, some really palpable anger. But we get so busy stuffing things down inside and not expressing them, not resolving them. And there's opportunity then to get just all bunched up, it's like giving ourselves a universal wedgie. I don't know. It's crazy. It's just very uncomfortable. But what if we could, with our breath, release old trauma? What if with our breath, we could release emotional blocks, anxiety, and depression, and more, simply by centering on the breath, letting go of these things that no longer serve us, and that might even be a pattern in our lives. That's what the breath can do. Joe Dispenza said this, and I love him, right? He, You Are the Placebo is one of his books, and Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Incredible. You can even put him on if you want. Go watch one of his stuff. I mean, it'll make your ears go whoa. I mean, it's hard to contain all of his information. One of my goals is for 2022, hopefully, is to go to one of his. He has these conferences. They're like 4 days. It's supposed to be like taking a drink from a fire hose. Just I don't care. I want to go. I just think it would be so cool. But he said this. Simply observing the breath can damp down stress, open a door to a more healthy and a more mindful lifestyle. Amen. That's what it can do. So wise women know that life is always working on their behalf. Amen. Especially when we're in process, especially when we're in process of letting go and becoming the vibrant woman that we've been called to become. And I just want to say that, this idea of letting go can be arduous, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, and it can be something that we're just saying, I just don't even know where to start. And I'm going to say to you right now, in full support, you don't need to. You just need to utilize your breath and allow your body to release it for you. Allow your body to do the work, because you don't even sometimes need to know what's what. All you need to know is that you need to let it go. And that's enough. That is enough. All right. Well, now that was a show. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope you're all getting signed up for Casino, because it's 2 weeks away. March is 2 weeks away. How is that even a thing? Go to savingdinner.com/casino and take care of it. And the other thing that I want you to do is remember that on Monday, we are starting the Get Strong, Be Strong Challenge. And I want you all in, pinkies up. Go get your kit, go get everything. Go to savingdinner.com/show. Whoops, strong, /strong. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate you showing up, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace be with you.
Thanks for watching. Check back for new episodes. If you missed the live show, you can always watch the replay. You can find Saving Dinner on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, pinkies up.